Aha! Welcome to another live stream. Now, confessions time. This almost did not happen. I woke up this morning, 5 a.m., in a state of anxiety and panic. And my first instinct was to say, I cannot do this today. I went back to sleep, woke up feeling a bit better. I've had a few jars, feeling a lot better now. So thankfully, I made it. And as the title or the thumbnail does suggest, we will discuss the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, but we're not going to do that straight away. And fair warning, before we go into that segment, I will give plenty of warning of spoilers being ahead. So at this point, I'm not going to spoil anything for anyone, and I'm going to do my introductions and read the messages. And I guess we'll do the normal thing where when I go for my first bathroom break, I will post the link. And if anyone wishes to come on and discuss the series, excuse me, dearie me, it can be either you can maybe agree with me or disagree with me. Makes no difference. It's all good. It's all personal opinion. And we can go from there. Obviously, there is a spoiler in the thumbnail, which is, I think I said it was, totally pointless. Is that what I said? The show kind of is, but we all knew that anyway. But anyway, I'm going to grab some of these messages and say hello to everyone. And we have one message here from the only one Kenobi. And the time stamp on this message says 6:07 p.m. So either he has used the Force to jump into the future, or he posted this yesterday. But thank you, only one. Hopefully you're watching this and you can confirm whether or not you are indeed in the future. Biker Scout, good to see you. I sense a disturbance in the Force. The last time I felt it was during the Book of Boba Fett. Ha! Well, the thing is, I'm now fully caught up with the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, and I'm guessing there's one more episode next week. And maybe I'll give Boba Fett another chance. Who knows? I started Peaky Blinders last night, and I was having a hard time with it because it's been so long since the last season. I really did not remember what happened last season. So it's a bit of a weird one to try and catch up with. And of course, the actress who played Polly died, so they had to address that. Anyway, moving on. Biker Scout said, "Oh, good one from Darth Wizzy Wizard." Tree Theodore is here. Thank you for tuning in, Tree. Blake, rock out. Thank you. Monkey Boy's Toys. Good day, gentle persons. And if anyone has been watching the previous few weeks, Monkey Boy has been a regular on this show, which is just fantastic. Jorge Alvar, best regards from Mexico City. Wow, thank you for tuning in. Keykeeper, yes, Dean, and yes to you too. Paul Pacific, hi all. Hoot to see you, and hoot to see you too. Darth Wizzy Wizard, hello. Daza, hi Dean, great channel. Well, thank you. That's a very kind compliment. Thank you. How can you spoil milk when it's already spoiled? Yeah, true, I guess. Hello, Dean. Obi-Wan gets worse as it goes on. Supposedly, the last episode is 90 minutes plus. I was going to say, well, they've got a lot to tie up, but actually they really don't, because we know what happens in the end, or what doesn't happen, I should say. It's only one Kenobi. Nick is here. Now, did you post from the future, or did you post last night? I need to know that. But I'm glad to see you here. And Ben is here. Hi, Dean. Great to see you live, mate. Hi to all in the chat. Yeah, I posted that hours ago. No Force, sadly. I'm here live for sure now, though. Excellent. That was posted at 3:04 p.m. So, yes, you are in the here and now. Book of Boba Fett is absolutely dreadful. A few rare moments in it, but overall a wasted opportunity and a waste of time. That's kind of what I'm feeling from it. I watched the first episode and thought it was absolutely awful and simply could not justify watching anymore. In fact, thinking back, I sat down to watch the second episode and saw that it was close to an hour or something. I thought, screw that. I'm not wasting my time on that. Where are we? Monkey Boy again. Would be happy to come on again, but like a vampire, I need to be invited across the threshold. Well, of course, you are absolutely always welcome. And as I said, once I get the first things out of the way, I will post the link as I'm taking a leak, and we'll see who comes on, and we can discuss the TV show or the streaming show. Obi-Wan needs more than the Force to save itself. Yeah. Been getting back into the books, what's now called the expanded universe. What do people think of this era now compared with Disney Star Wars? I have no comment because I've not followed or read the expanded universe. I think, as I alluded to in my somewhat disastrous return to live streaming last month, for me, Star Wars is and always will be about the toys, and the movies and storyline was always secondary to me. I don't know if I'm unique in that. Maybe someone can comment to tell me what they think, because the truth is I was so blasted on that live stream, I don't remember what anyone told me. But anyway. Daniel, hi Dean, and nice to see you. Nice to see you too, sir. Matt, hello mate. Hello. Oh, thank you to RRTNZ. Thank you so much. That is incredibly kind of you. As a Star Wars fan, I feel your pain with Obi-Wan. Thousands of voices crying out saying, what the fuck? Oops, I can swear it's my channel. Anyway, may the Force be with you. Cheers, mate. Well, cheers to you too. That is very kind of you. Thank you so much. Jack Kelly. Hello, live on my holidays from Gran Canaria. Best YouTuber going. Well, thank you so much. I have been to Gran Canaria twice, I think, in what? Let me think about this. 1995 or 96, and again in 97, I believe. Playa de las Americas, is that right? Yeah, I liked it there. It's very cool. And yeah, it was nice. Obviously, living in Scotland at the time, it was nice to get some beautiful sunshine. But I hope you're having a great holiday there. Fantastic. Thank Christ there's only one episode of Kenobi left. Yeah, it really was a pointless exercise. But we'll get to that shortly after this. Yes, again, another classic Star Wars character gets sidelined in his own show. This time, a 10-year-old girl has more smart moves, or has more smarts than Obi-Wan. They know what they're doing, Leia. The writers, yeah, that's exactly my thoughts as well. But we'll get to that. Hey, all things 80s, how are you? I'm very good. And again, everyone, this is one of the greatest YouTube names ever. Rich, good to see you, sir. Thank you for tuning in. The storytelling in the recent Star Wars Disney shows is absolutely farcical. It's like they're not trying or simply don't give a fuck and gave in to the intern for work experience. Yeah, it does kind of seem that way, doesn't it? So Darth Wizzy Wizard says, for me, the films were so amazing that the toys came a distant second. But I will say the toy line keeps me thinking about Star Wars. Interesting. I may or may not have said this in that awful live stream, but I got my first Star Wars toys in 1980 and didn't see the first Star Wars movie until possibly 82. Then saw Return of the Jedi, and then saw Empire Strikes Back about 5 years after that. So for me, the movies were all over the place, all about the toys for me. Let's see. Pechi Watana. Who's that? Anyway, following up quickly from yesterday's video, I just want to again share these utterly fantastic new mask toys from CFCB Unlimited. And this is not a sponsorship. I kind of wish it was, but it isn't. But let me just quickly show you their latest offerings. And I'm such a douche. My video yesterday was promoting these new figures and saying they are now available for pre-order at the CFCB Unlimited website. And I forgot to pre-order. So just before this live stream, I went on to pre-order, and it appears that one of them was back ordered. So I managed to snag one. And what I'm about to show you is getting sent back tomorrow, which is kind of sucks, but it is what it is. But hopefully I'll get the other figure. I think I managed to get hold of Hondo, and Alex Sector is back ordered, or it's the other way around, I forget. But regardless, Alex Sector carded. This is absolutely beautiful. And I can't express how amazing, and that's a strange thing to say about cardboard, but how amazing these card backs are. I don't know if that's coming across on camera, but I would estimate it's probably the same as about 4 Hasbro card backs sandwiched together. It's so thick and sturdy. And the imagery here, classic 1980s, and on the back there we have all the other figures. Most of them have been done thus far. We're still waiting for CFCB to do Buddy Hawks, Slyrax, Cliff Dagger, and the Rhino Mat Tracker. So I'm assuming they will get done at some point. But look at that. Fantastic and loose. Stunning colors. Really are. I mean, you take the helmet off. Now, some people were complaining that they didn't paint the eyes on these, but the originals didn't have painted eyes, and these are supposed to be copying the originals, but in 3 3/4 inch form. Fantastic Alex Sector. And of course, the other one that was announced or made available yesterday was Hondo McLean with the blaster mask. Again, beautiful card back, exact same on the back, but obviously I'm not going to open this because it's not mine to open, but there is a small shelf within the top bubble there. I don't know if you can see that or not. There's a shelf actually holding the mask up there, which is kind of cool and loose. Look at that. Superb. And of course, it's the short mask, which is the far more desirable mask. He is very dark. I don't know if that's a problem with my camera or not, but again, fantastic. So these are the latest offerings from CFCB Unlimited of their mask line. So as I said, one of them is back ordered. I forget which one. In fact, I'll tell you right now, it's on my phone. I just got the email before coming on to this live stream. CFCB. So currently, okay, so Hondo is still available for pre-order. Alex with the Jackrabbit mask is back ordered, but I'm assuming it doesn't take long for these to get back in stock. So there you go. CFCB Unlimited, fantastic things. Where are we now? So Daza picked up Phantom Menace today for £1.50 in town. Watching it again, did not think it was as bad compared to some of the newer movies. I'll be honest, at the time when it came out in the theater, I loved it, especially those lightsaber battles. Those are the best in the whole series. But kind of tying in with my thoughts on Kenobi is that I'm not a fan of child actors. I'm really not. I guess maybe from ages, 13 up is okay, but child actors under the age of 13 to me are very annoying. And that is very much the case with Phantom Menace and the Kenobi series. Oh, thanks, Ben. That's nice of you to welcome her. Slake Jake, Dino Machino. Great to see you up and at it. How is the music creation process going? Well, I hope. Well, what a mess I'm making myself. Actually, as it happens, in preparation for probably my biggest video ever, which will be my Batman 66 collection tour, I have been, well, I was going to say learning. It's not really that hard to learn, but I'm trying to work out a way of doing my own take on the 66 TV Batman theme so that I can use it without getting any copyright strikes. And clearly, given my other musical escapades, it will be a very rocking version. So that's been my latest thing. I'm just trying to work out whether or not how to use it, I should say, because I think it might be nice to have some music playing quite low in the background of the whole video, but have it like really, really in your face at certain parts. But that is my latest escapade. And that's the thing. It's been a really, really crazy year, 2022. Obviously, things got off to a very bad start for me mentally. And I had my issues, and I got really disenfranchised with the whole toy collecting thing. And when that was going on, I was heavily into doing music again. And technically, I have more than enough new material that I created to do an entire album with, but it's never going to happen because I can't sing for shit, so that's a pity. But I've got a lot of material that's like, I don't know, 75% complete songs. If I really need to do that and get it out of my system, but I'm enjoying doing small pieces of music that I can use in these videos, and in particular, the intro you just heard on this video. Every time I play it on these live streams, I was going to say I get a boner, but that's not really right. I get hair standing up. It's so heavy. I'm so proud of it. So I might do more of those little things. And I need to also rejig the intro because I'm using YouTube's 30-second countdown. And then I jump into my live intro, but there's a slight gap between the two. So I need to create a 30-second intro that goes straight into the hard rocking live intro. But thank you for asking. Lee Bush, toys enhance the films for me. Now I think they should leave it alone. Yeah, that seems to be a general sort of consensus. Just got my Stan Solo Garindon in the mail now. Dean, you brought this gem to my attention. Thanks. Oh, you're welcome. And thank you for supporting Stan Solo. Best in the business, really is. These Star Wars figures he does puts Hasbro to shame. And there's a smiley face. Okay. The bait and switch is purely because no one wants to watch Riva the Diva free running into the woke verse. Yeah. Alex Sector. Oh, thank you to all of you. There you go. All I can say is that is written in way better than I could ever write Thai. So there's something for you. His beard is my new hero. Yeah, I do like the beard stroking in the series. That's nice. Can we get a thumbs up for the Phantom Menace? I'll give it a half thumbs up. It has its moments. I love how they can use CGI to give us Luke and other legacy characters, but have Hayden Christensen looking like he's aged like a full fat milk in the desert. De-aging budget must have run out to cast it. That's a good question. That's kind of a spoiler that I don't want to. I do want to go into this in more detail, and all I'll say is I have not watched Attack of the Clones again to do a comparison, but I do hear where you're coming from there. Casting all the powerful, strong woman, yeah. As a kid, I loved the card backs with all the other figures on them to collect in the future. Hasbro are definitely missing a trick with all the health and safety foreign language text on them. Yeah, I was just chatting with an old friend in Scotland yesterday about this, and the backstory to the conversation was that in our small village town in Scotland, you could actually buy Star Wars figures. There was the co-op It was a supermarket downstairs, and upstairs they sold everything from furniture to paint to ladies' underwear, and they had toys. And I got a number of my Star Wars figures from there. Most notably, I remember getting the AT-AT Commander, and that was why I got that one again and opened it up, and it upset a bunch of people. But anyway, the point I was making was that in our village town, they only had the older figures. So in 1983, they had Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back card-backed figures. There were no Jedi card-backs there. And as kids, we wanted the Jedi card-backs because it was the newest version of Star Wars, but also it had the most figures on the back. And looking at those card-backs was just as much fun as playing with the toys, in my opinion. They are stupid, yep. I'm loving the Kenobi series so far. The diversity of the cast and the recognition of the female characters is a joy to behold. Okay, I don't know if this is like ironic trolling or not, but I've never heard a serious person say they like a show because of diversity and the recognition of female characters. Maybe you do. Interesting take. Let's see if we hear more from you. By the way, completely agree with your comments about the child actors. Oh, thank you. I'm glad I'm not alone in that. They are so annoying. They really are. Oh my God. I still remember as a kid, in fact, here we go. If you're from the UK and you were a kid in the 80s, you will understand what I'm about to say. 1 second, please. Summer holidays, BBC One. In the mornings, Why Don't You was a kids or a show for kids to give you ideas of things to do on the summer holidays, but it was a show hosted by other kids, and I hated seeing other kids tell me what I should be doing. And they had some really bad jokes. I mean, one of the segments, I think I saw it on YouTube a year or two back. One of the segments was showing you how to make a ham and cheese sandwich. But it was kids, and they would have different casts. So there'd be a cast from Liverpool, one from Birmingham, one from London, one from Glasgow, or whatever. Horrible, horrible. And another one I hated as a kid. I didn't actually see the movie, but I did see clips, and that was Annie. I hated that little actress as well. I'm just not a fan of kid actors. Kenobi is a bad show. Yeah. Excuse me. Certain age group was that some Star Wars is better than no Star Wars. Soon we'll have at droids and Ewok film level at this rate. Yeah. No, that's a bad take. That's a, how do I say this? That's a sucker's take to say that bad Star Wars is better than no Star Wars. That is not the case. Biker Scout says, biggest problem with Obi-Wan series is the character of Reva. Is it Reva or Reva? The show focuses far too much on her when it should be primarily on Obi-Wan and Vader. Yep, of course it is. It's the bait and switch. Obviously, I've not watched all of Boba Fett, but by all accounts, the best episodes are the ones that feature the Mandalorian. So go figure. Oh shit, I've just jumped. So follow. I have 40 years plus invested in Vader and Obi-Wan. I want to know their story, not Reva, to whom I have nothing invested in whatsoever. Yep, I completely agree. To everyone who is commenting, I do appreciate the comments, but if we could not give any spoilers away at this point, I promise we're going to get to it very soon. Where are we in terms of minutes? So 25 minutes. I suspect my bladder might last another 15. When I go for that first pee break, I will put up the link and we can maybe get some folks on and we can debate this in great detail with a ton of spoilers. I have some notes, not a great deal. I've watched each episode once, and that will probably be the only time I watch them. So I'm not the most knowledgeable, but I do have my opinions. Scripts need to be better, and I think it's mental that with other shows, films, books, and other media, that they aren't drawing more from that, but instead giving us this pish. Boggles the mind. Okay, you said pish. Are you from Scotland? I need to know. And are you born in 85 also? Do comment, please. Hey, everyone. Can't stay. We'll catch up later. Well, thanks, Gerard. Thanks for stopping by, though. Very much appreciated. Yeah, later indeed. EMS 3 recombination. Why don't you just turn off the television set, go outside and do something less boring instead? Yes, right. Starting with the switching off that shit. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Didn't they have like sock puppets telling jokes at one point? They would like pop through a wooden box. Yeah. I don't know what it is. I have always had a problem with kid actors. I've always been able to see through bullshit, and some of the acting from these children is not good. And it's not. I don't think it's unfair to, if you're a director, to say to a kid actor, that sucked, do it again. Because it seems to me that they're letting these kid actors do these terrible lines or deliver the lines badly. And they think, oh, they're just young. We'll let it slide. No, don't let it slide, because me as a viewer can see how terrible it looks. And the only good thing about Why Don't You was that it was on before Junior Kickstart. Yes, it was. Yep. Also, if I remember rightly, a typical sort of summer holiday schedule would be something along the lines of the Pink Panther show, Battle of the Planets, Why Don't You, and Junior Kickstart. Oh, fantastic. But here's where I get a bit annoyed, because in Scotland, our holiday started a week or two before the English school started. So because of that, we'd have to go back to school, and the BBC was still showing all those great shows for the English kids, and that made us Scots very annoyed. Diversity and recognition should be with the hand of good writing. That's not the case with today's cinema. Yeah. Obviously, this isn't a spoiler. The Reva character, I think the acting is just horrendous. We get she's supposed to be this evil, nasty piece of work. There are ways of portraying that without making it so obvious in the acting, and I could see right through that. If you consider the first two films as the base of Star Wars, measuring or template going forward, they have drifted from this going forward. Star Wars and Empire, it's just moved to children level content and bad writing. Yeah, another thing I have to say about modern Star Wars, in fact, okay, goofy looking, stupid aliens. I understand why that was the case back in the 70s, 80s, because that's all they could do with practical effects. Why they insist on doing these stupid looking aliens to this day blows my mind. I'm thinking about the one that was driving that, I don't know, pickup truck type thing on episode, I don't know, 4 or something of this Kenobi series. Looked ridiculous, had this stupid accent. I don't understand. And also, what's with this cutesy little droid things as well? Come on. They have to understand their core audience are primarily men in their, late 30s to early 50s, maybe. They can make it a bit more grown up, for God's sake. Biker Scout says, every time I saw Why Don't You as a kid, it always seemed to be from Newcastle or Belfast. Those bloody accents. Yeah. Oh my God. Nothing against the Irish, because they are our Celtic brothers. But yes, some of those accents were really hard for us to understand. And that's quite rich coming from Scots people. But yeah, Newcastle, I remember a lot. I think they had Welsh ones as well at one point. When it comes to Star Wars stories, do people think Disney should have followed the Star Wars expanded universe? Been reading them for over 10 years, so many great stories. I can't really comment. I don't know about it, but from all accounts, it seems to be a pretty popular thing. I remember Why Don't You just switch on your TV set and do something less boring instead? Yeah, I think for me, it was a case of just switch off the TV, go outside and do some BMX stunts instead of watching these crappy kids tell me how to make a ham and cheese sandwich. Okay, I'm going to take a note of this. I need to find that clip and I will post maybe I've never done a reaction video before. So maybe you'll see me react to some stupid kids make a bloody ham and cheese sandwich as if it was some sort of new innovation. There you go. There's something to look forward to. Hi, Dean. Hope it's going well. Hi, Jason. Hope you're doing well. Hope you've been traveling. I need to get back to watching everyone again. As I said, I had a moment earlier this year where I lost all interest in this whole scene and I stopped watching videos, which is terrible of me. I'm going to start getting back into that. Speaking of traveling, without giving anything away at this stage, I will be traveling for the first time in almost 3 years. So I may have said this before, it's worth repeating. A combination of COVID and rampant crime in Democrat-led cities has led me to be basically stuck within like a 2-mile radius of where I live for almost 3 years now. And because of the bureaucratic nonsense preventing me and Mrs. 88 getting back to Thailand, we may be able to go in September, but for the time being, I thought I cannot stay put here like this any longer. So we're going to take a trip in July, early July. And whilst it may not seem like it's an 80s themed trip, it's very much my memory of the 80s. I'm going to say no more at this time, but we will be going somewhere that is very special and means a lot to my 80s experience. And there will definitely be videos from that, but do not ask. I will not tell any more at this stage. Was it not switch off your TV set? Oh, okay. Lol. Well, I usually did when that show came on. Yeah, it was bloody awful. It really was. It was also, as well, on a similar vein, I was never a big Blue Peter fan. I found that show so boring. And I always remember as a kid, I wasn't aware that there was a TV schedule whereby certain shows came on certain days. I didn't know that as a kid. And I would always sit down after school and not know what was coming up. It took me a while to realize that certain days had certain shows. And I was always hoping for Grange Hill. And the days that Blue Peter came up instead, I was so bummed out by that. Absolutely. I am from Scotland, live in Motherwell, the Chernobyl of the North. When you said pish, I knew you had to be Scottish. That is fantastic. Juan Vast nailed it 100%. There we go. I will say, though, that Grange Hill, circa Zamo Maguire and Danny Kendall, Mr. Bronson, was must-see viewing back in the day. Absolutely. As I just said, every day as a kid, I was wishing for Grange Hill. And when they gave us Blue Peter instead, it was like, oh my God, not this crap again. I really did not enjoy Blue Peter, to be honest. Oh, this is confession time. I once got in big trouble with my mum. If you remember on Blue Peter, they had this recurring character. Recurring character, is that the right way to say it? But they would always visit Joey Deacon, who was, I guess he was like a paraplegic of sorts. And I'm ashamed of this now, but as a kid, 7, 8, 9 years old, I found his appearance to be amusing. And one time I laughed, and my mom absolutely belted me for laughing at this poor man. But yeah, if anyone else remembers Joey Deacon, please do comment, and I will bring it up. Jason says, it's funny, but I had a crush on the girl who played the movie Doctor Who back in the 60s, and I was only about 8 or 9 when I first saw Doctor Who, and I thought, oh yeah, we all had crushes at that age. I was thinking back about this the other day, and I used to, I was always forced to go to church and Sunday school and things. And once at Sunday school, when I could only have been 7 or something, they had older Girl Scouts, watching over us, and we were all playing or whatever. And even at 7 years old, I really fancied this, like, I guess maybe 12, 13-year-old girl. So obviously it's being a red-blooded male has always been in my genes, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Krypton's Prophet says, love the channel, sir. Great intro. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. That is so kind of you. And even when I was a kid, got a big kick out of learning that Bronson was also doubled as Admiral Ozzel. Yep. Again, because I saw Star Wars, it wasn't until like 82 or something. But Johnny, do you remember Johnny Briggs? His dad was also an Imperial officer, I think. Someone can confirm that, I'm sure. Even kids complain as well about this stuff. That's the funny. Also, the kids hate it as well. The Disney era alien designs are terrible. Very easy to spot. Also, the extra costume designs and tattoo. Yeah. Also, in this Kenobi, the CGI is pretty bad as well. Like some of those ships coming into land were as bad as they were back in like 77. I don't know what's going on. Don't do reaction videos until later, because by then you'll be as pissed as arseholes and it'll be more entertaining. Yeah. Oh, hang on. You're a woke lord, aren't you? Yep, I knew it. That comment you put previously. Okay, listen, I'm going to give you one last chance. Any more of this crap, and you will get blocked again, okay? You know my stance on this whole woke thing, so don't push my buttons. I'm going to give you one last chance, but absolutely, you are woke lord or whatever that number was. Woke lord, some other numbers. In fact, you know what? You're gone now, in fact, so let me see how I can get this done. Let me see, you've retracted something. So let me see. Hide user. Yep, you're gone. You have caused me no end of problems in the past. And that video that you did using some of my footage, go fuck yourself. You're gone. Yes, Dean, you should do more 80s reaction videos. I remember I said I watched Seaview recently, Yvette Fielding. Well, man, that would be epic to watch you react to it. Yeah. I actually think I need to do more of that, because there was some real garbage produced back in the 80s that I had to like suck up, because there was no skip function back then. But certainly Why Don't You had a ton of it. Back on my travels from the 7th of July, going to Orlando for 20 nights. So lots of awesome. Hope you have a great time, Jason. Actually, Orlando was my first ever visit to America, and that was, and this is sad, it was September 7 of the year 2000. And that was what made me love the place. Of course, Orlando was very fake. My second trip was to Hollywood, and that was like a real culture shock. Got off the plane into a taxi, going to stay on Hollywood Boulevard and seeing all these junkies and hookers and all sorts shooting up. Very different experience. Moved to Texas, plenty of room. Yeah. Who knows? Sounds terrible, like the fall of the Republic. Blue Peter, best episode was when the Vandals dug up Peter Thrower's Blue Peter garden. Yeah, I remember that episode where they all very sort of solemn-faced, and they showed the footage of these smashed garden ornaments and things. No, or wasn't the best episode back in the black and white days where the elephant shit on the studio floor and the zookeeper got dragged through it. That was pretty special as well, actually. My friend's dad was on Blue Peter. He invented some sort of electric bicycle contraption. Actually, didn't Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher once appear on Blue Peter? Biker Skit says, "Oh my God, Joey Deacon! That used to be an insult hurled at school. Joey Deacon! Never realised where the insult originated from. Feel bad as they often, yeah. Well, no. In my school, if you did something stupid, you were called Joey because of Joey Deacon. Absolutely terrible, wasn't it? Yeah. Wow. I was going to say it's awesome. It's not awesome, but it is kind of cool that we both, from our separate schools, had that same experience. Clive Sinclair, who invented the electrical vehicle. Yeah, I'm sure he was on Blue Peter at one point. Joey Deacon was a huge hit in school playgrounds, used as an insult, funny but terrible at the same time. Yeah. But like I said, when he came on the TV that one day and I started laughing, my mum absolutely whacked me for that. And of course, that made me laugh even more, which kind of defeated the purpose of that. But anyway, no, it wasn't him. Johnny Briggs, yes, with his dog. Yep. Always liked Jill Halfpenny. That name rings a bell, but I don't remember how. Please do enlighten me. I already deleted that guy. Oh, thank you, Monkey Bot. Yeah, he has been a thorn in my side going back at least a year now. Yeah, I don't know, like one of these trolls, I guess. No, I think he's English, and he would appear in a lot of these live streams and just really, try to push this woke agenda. Like, he's clearly a troll, but yeah, he's gone, thankfully. Well done, Monkey Boys. So, yeah, thank you. Agreed, Ben. Glad to hear that you're going away soon. Do look forward to seeing that beautiful. Yeah, oh yeah, you're welcome. So all I'll say is this: it does involve getting on a plane, and we are staying within continental America. But yes, very much something that means a lot to my 80s childhood. Although most people will disagree, but that's not really my problem, is it? Jill Halfpenny. Okay, who the hell? I recognize that name. Let me see. Jill. Fuck. Bloody hell, my typing is getting worse. Jill Halfpenny. Coronation Street. EastEnders. So what was she in on kids' TV? Wow, she's hot. Whoa, nice rack as well. Don't know if anyone can see that. Not at all bad. Okay, what's the connection to kids' TV? Someone can comment. What's her connection to kids' TV? Jason says, got one Comic Con to do there plus. Oh wow, awesome, fantastic. Yeah, I've only been to the one ever convention. That was New York Comic Con last year. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really did. Sadly, I think there's a very high probability that this year's New York Comic Con will be out of the country. So I've not bought tickets for that. If our plans change, I'll definitely go back because it was a fun time. Yeah, he got a timeout but didn't learn. What a dick. Although he's so stupid because he does those emojis that give it away, because I remembered those from last year, so he's not the sharpest tool in the box. But he is a tool, though. Joey Deacon, and the other one was you Spaz. Yep, indeed, Spaz. Halfpenny was in Grange Hill. Okay, so let me see what she looked like in Grange Hill. Jill Halfpenny. Was she in the first line of search says Biker Grove, but let's see. Okay, Jill Halfpenny, Grange Hill. Let's Let me see. Okay. Now, was that her in Grange Hill? I'm assuming so. Yeah. I mean, hang on. I shouldn't be saying that as a 48-year-old man, but maybe 12-year-old me would have said, yeah. Oh my God. Am I going to get arrested for saying that? I hope not. Don't know if you remember Gruey, Dean, another kids show. The boy from that went on to do full frontal sex scenes with money shots. It was called 9 Songs, makes a good companion piece to Gruey. Gruey, I don't remember that at all. Also Biker Grove, okay. Feels like Order 66 happened 2 years ago. Yeah. The joys of BBC Two would be you'd see an episode of one of your favourite shows, and sometimes, depending on the time, it would be in Gaelic. Do you remember Dota? Yeah, I remember Dota Man, unwatchable. When I was back in Scotland in 2019, there was a BBC Scotland channel that I think was entirely in Gaelic, but they would show live football games, and I would watch them, but I have no. They would be commentating in Gaelic, and you get the odd word of the player's name, but aside from that, it was rather bizarre. I mean, how many Gaelic speakers are there in Scotland still? Joey had a mate called Ernie who translated for him. My God, he had a translator. Jeez, that's bad. Sorry, yeah, it was Biker Grove. Okay, and okay, I've caught up with the chat, so let me have a quick slurp. Hang on. I see on the YouTube feed, Monkey Boys Toys has something that I do need to bring up when it finally appears on StreamYard. And it's referencing the fact that Biker Grove gave us Ant and Dec. And here we go. I will never forgive Biker Grove for bringing us Ant and Dec. Again, even as a kid watching Biker Grove, I knew they were a pair of dicks. How they have had this career following that just blows my mind. It really does. Although one of the funniest things I ever saw in America was there was some worldwide. Now, what was the singing contest? What was the singing contest they hosted? It wasn't America's Got Talent, or was it the X? No, not the X Factor. I need help here. What was was it a talent show or a singing show that Simon Cowell was part of? Help me out here. Anyway, there was a worldwide version of that, and Ant and Dec were the hosts for the worldwide show. And at the time, so we're talking like early 2000s, maybe 2004 or something, I was listening to the Howard Stern show here in America. And because Ant and Dec were the worldwide hosts, Pop Idol. Ant and Dec were the hosts for this worldwide show. On the Howard Stern show, they were talking about these hosts, and they're saying, who the fuck are these two douchebags? And I thought, yep, welcome to the world of Ant and Dec. Pop Idol, that was the show. BBC Alba, that's the one, thank you. Hilarious watching football on it, yeah. Who bothers speaking it these days? Yeah, it was bizarre. I mean, they had some decent games. In fact, do they still show a game that took place at 3 p.m. and they show it again at 5 p.m.? Because I think when I was there was a Hibs game that was being shown later on Alba. So I did not go online from like 3 p.m. onwards, so I wouldn't know the score. And it was at Fir Park. So I was, quick backstory. I had to go back to Scotland with Mrs. 88 to deal with all the crap because my father passed away. I had all this shit to deal with, house, etc. And I knew that the game was being shown later at 5 or 6 on BBC Alba. So I said, okay, do not go online, do not know the score. And I remember drinking Tennant's lager in a can in the garden because it was a beautiful day, getting geared up to watch this game. It just so happened that I'd been to Easter Road and I bought the new third kit shirt. So I put that on, and lo and behold, the team are wearing it live, or not live, but as live on BBC Alba. And I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be great. Hibs lost 3-0. Terrible. But yeah, the commentary was just ridiculous. Still commentating Gaelic on BBC Alba, as far as I know. I'm not Scottish. Had a match on there a while back that wasn't on English BBC, right? Ant and Dec are proof there is a God. You couldn't be that lucky otherwise. I agree. I don't really remember their acting ability in Biker Grove. Maybe they were good. Didn't they do a song as well at one point? But my God, they were bloody annoying. Pop Idol, yeah. Didn't one of them do like a drunk driving thing or something as well? Biker Grove did give us the clip of one of them getting shot in the face with a paintball gun. I can't see, Pet. Why, aye, man? Pete, Pet. All right, Pet. All right, Pet. Nick, yes, Pop Idol, indeed. Thank you. Do you remember the boy with two heads? Chico the Rainmaker. My God, I do not recall any of that. That is quite a title there. The Boy with Two Heads. Don't remember that one at all. Hibs kit of 1990-91 is top drawer, green and white version of the Arsenal kit in red and white. 90, that would have been what, the Adidas. In fact, would that be the Skull Cup winning kit with no sponsor, because Hibs were in such a bad state, there was no sponsor at the time. Yeah, stunning kit. The kit they released today, my God, it's like one of these weird... you see, so my team Hibs have gone with a small kit maker, Joma. Who the hell are they? But because they are small, we get bespoke, custom-made kits. And last season's kit had the sort of map of Edinburgh within the shirt. The one that they have just put out today bizarrely has a silhouette of one of the stands on it. Let me I'm going to pull this up because it's worth my commentary, I think. If I can just search for this. It's either a shocker or it's a classic. I'm not really sure what my feelings are on this. It's bizarre to say the least. So let me see if I can share this. Share screen. Excuse me. I mean, look at this. So that is meant to be a silhouette of one of the stands. And I think it's a fail, to be honest. I don't know what they were thinking. Had the kit just been a straightforward green body with the white sleeves and white side, it could have been an absolute classic. But to me, that looks absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, that's just my thoughts on that. So we'll stop sharing this. No one else needs to see that. So yeah, bizarre. Tenet's making me feel thirsty. Yeah. You know, I think people still look down on Tenets, but to me, it's all right. And the ironic thing was, in Scotland, cheap American crap is viewed upon as being like some sort of fancy import. So Budweiser and Coors Light were more expensive than the sort of traditional Tennents. As you said earlier, school summer holidays was murder as nearing the end of the Scottish holiday. The good stuff would appear on TV as the English kids' holiday would be. Yeah, exactly. Always sucked. Yeah. Hib sponsor in the early 90s, the Frank Graham Group. Yep. Yeah. Now that did that come after the winning the Skull Cup? Because I know for a fact the Skull Cup win was done with no sponsor. And I think so. My first game was 1986, and there was Umbro shirt with InSave along the front, and then the following season it was the same shirt with P&D Windows. The P&D Windows continued onto the Adidas shirt the next time, and then I guess they lost sponsorship, but they won the Skull Cup. So anyway, Jomar are a Spanish kit and bootmaker similar to Umbro, were bigger, have small spare of market now. Yeah, I mean, it is nice that my team gets a bespoke design, but this putting a silhouette of the stand on a shirt, come on. Not sure if you covered this already. I'm just joining in. When's the Batman collection video coming? Looking forward to. Okay, Jack. Just so happens I had to buy a tablecloth today. We have a fold-out table that we use outside and for parties. I'm going to have to use that to house everything. And so I've got the tablecloth. I'm still trying to work out how to do the music. So hopefully within 2 weeks. Yeah, hopefully. Really wish I'd kept my old Aberdeen shirts. Coolest one was a 95 North Sound radio kit. I did hang on to the Scotland World Cup 90 shirt. Oh, nice. Iron Brew is a great import. It certainly is. However, check this out. I've not bought anything yet, but I signed up with a website that is called something like Essential. It's called us.britishessentials.com. And I got an email saying, you might like this. Well, yes, I do like it. However, for $14.49, you can get stuffed. Hell no. Can you see the price? $14.49 for a bottle of Iron Brew. I don't think so. That is just ridiculous. Do you recall Eurotrash and Lolo Ferrari? Yes, I do. Had a teenage man trying to... Hang on. Lolo Ferrari had a teenage man trying to Artex my ceiling. Yeah, I remember Lolo. Now, didn't she die quite young? Yeah, Eurotrash. Like, so that was Channel 4, I think. And then, of course, we ended up getting Channel 5, who had things like the Red Shoe Diaries, which was pretty usable, if you know what I mean. Partick Thistles, Kingsley is definitely the best mascot. Oh my God. Remember when they put that on a shirt? It looked horrendous. Loved it when shirt sponsors was just a little local companies like Crown Paints. Yeah. I need the return of the Jedi duvet cover. Yeah. I didn't have a duvet cover, but I did have Star Wars pajamas and slippers when I was a kid. Lowenbrow, great beer. Oh yeah. Artex, yeah. That's one way of saying it. We used to talk about whitewashing a fence. Charlie Nicholas JVC shirt for me. Yeah. Oh, I remember that one. Jason says, P.S. team, what Batman books do you have, or is that going to be in your Batman collection video? As two are up. Okay, I have, you know what? I don't know the names offhand. I have a couple of 66 themed comic books and a hardback book, which is quite vintage. Again, once the video goes up, you will definitely see those. And we got Max Video Entertainment. A bit late to the show. I'm dripping everywhere here. Having just spoken about Artexing the ceiling, the stains on my shorts are not anything untoward. A bit later in the show, watching Grange Hill circa 86 to 90, the Ziggy Greaves era. Remember Georgina Hayes was hot? Yeah, I remember a few of them. Now, didn't one of them become a star on EastEnders, but she wasn't necessarily hot, shall we say? Ah, Lee Bush likes McEwen's Export. I remember my dad's, I guess it was what, his 50th birthday, had a big party, and there was tons of that left in the fridge, I remember, but I wasn't allowed any because I was only, what, 15 or something. Red Shoe Diaries had young lads with sports socks like boomerangs, carpets like astroturf, and a bed sheet like a poppadom. Yes. One of my favorites from the Viz comic was, I forget what the segment was. It was someone, it was a professor, someone's something or other, and the term was wankers crisps as opposed to walkers crisps. But wankers crisps were those rock solid tissues found under a young adolescent's bed. Yeah. Have you ever seen Princess Leia, the Vintage Collection Slave Leia outfit and cardback? I think that might be my favorite of all time. I have not seen that. I'm surprised they made it because didn't they vow not to do any, sexual type uh, figures? Hence why Stan Solo gives us the Slave Leia and the Ula figure. Okay, Jason, thanks. You're going to get back onto talking about Kenobi. Yes, I am. As it so happens, I've reached the point where the seal is about to break on my bladder. Before I run off to take care of that, I'm going to share the link, and anyone who wishes to come on to talk about the show is welcome to do so. And there we go. That's been posted now. And in keeping within the spirit of things, I'm going to quickly run off for hopefully 90 seconds or less. But I will play, or not play, but I will put up a little cover type screen. And I will, of course, mute my microphone because the bathroom is right there and no one needs to hear me peeing. I will be back in 90 seconds. And if there are guests waiting, I will bring you on. Please hold tight. Sorry about that. Yes, that was a rather large wee, but I'm back, and we have one guest. We'll bring him on in just a few seconds. Just going to catch up with the chat here. Lee Bush, lovely kit. Those red square. Oh yeah, that was a nice Aberdeen kit. Grange Hill made me fear going to. Oh yeah, me too. Absolutely. Wilma Dickfoot, get back to Kenobi. It is. Yeah. Anyone object if I jump on? No, no one objects. You've become the star of the show in recent weeks. Go drain the snake. Yes, I did. Homemade paper mache. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I know what you mean there. Actually, yeah. I'm going to share this. So I had a friend at work. He was a young lad who joined the workforce. I guess he was maybe 17 at the time, and he told me in confidence that his secret was, if you remember, before the digital age, we used cameras that took film, and the film came in those little black tubs with a grey lid. Well, he would use them to spunk into and put the lid on so there was no smell. Smart kid. We got, if I stick around for the Kenobi chat, will it spoil anything important? I am only up to episode 3. I did want to give it a chance, but already seeing it go downhill. There will be spoilers, but to be honest, how can you spoil something that's already spoiled? It's entirely up to you, Ben. I will be disclosing plots and whatnot. It's entirely up to you if you want to stick with that. Monkey Boy's talk. Yeah, good to see you. Have fun, Monkey Boy. Only good thing about Kenobi is it's terrible, but not as bad as Boba Fett. Oh my god. What do people think of the vintage Kenobi Alec Guinness figure? Do you mean the Kenner figure? It is what it is. It's an 80s or 70s classic. Look at the VHS tape of Channel 5 launch in 97. The Spice Girls opened it. Porsche Spice Victoria has the second best legs of all time, just behind Nicole Kidman. You know what? Wasn't she a bit on the skinny side? I think Ginger Jerry was the most fuckable, but I shouldn't really be saying that on public TV. But anyway, guests, first up, you've seen them before for the past few weeks. It's Monkey Boy. How are you, man?
Hello, dude. How are you?
I'm very good. How are you? It's good to see you.
I'm sorry, I'm still laughing about the dude spunking in the film container.
and we have another guest coming on. This is Wizard. How are you?
Hey, Dean. How you doing?
I'm good, thanks. So, I'm assuming you all have opinions on the Kenobi series.
Yeah.
Ooh, gotta fill up the mug glass.
Yeah. Again, just to warn everybody, I don't know about these guys, but I will be sharing some details of the shows, and I have seen them all. I caught up last night eventually. I was late to the party, but I watched them all. So I will be sharing some things that happened in the show. So if you've not seen them yet, you may want to go away, watch them, and come back and watch the rest of the streams. That's fair warning. There will be spoilers from this moment forth. So for me, the problem with the show is there's absolutely no level of danger or suspense because we know all the main characters survive because we see them fully intact in the 1977 Star Wars movie.
Yeah, I was going to make that exact same point. There's just no jeopardy, is there?
No, and for me, one of the worst scenes of all took place quite early, where in, I guess, like the sort of town square, and this, I forget her name now, Reva holds a saber to Owen Lars's throat and says to the crowd, "Tell me where the Jedi is, or this man and his family dies." It's such a hollow threat.
Yeah.
the writing is so bad that it takes the wind right out of your lungs, or the oxygen out of your lungs,
Yeah.
like it's incredible. Like it's just I would never have thought when Disney took over. I mean, I saw some of the signs back, with the Force Awakens, with the decisions, but it just in sort of ways it keeps getting worse, and it makes me wonder how many writers they have on these shows, because it's so inconsistent. Certain scenes are good, other ones, but when you actually analytically break it down, it's not following. It's making the same mistakes, but they have such powerful characters like Darth Vader, and you have James Earl Jones that I've heard doing the voice. That, in a way, it's almost like he overlaps the stupidity of the writers. It's like you got a kid driving around in a Ferrari that doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, I've just picked out a few random things that really bothered me about this show. There was one scene where there was an Imperial blockade, and Obi-Wan and Leia are hitching a ride on the back of some farmer's truck. And they take out all the stormtroopers, and they're looking at this force field gate, and they're trying to disable it. And then finally Obi-Wan blasts it. But then a pullback shot shows they could have walked around it.
It's just preposterous, isn't it?
It really is.
I think every incarnation now that we're getting of Star Wars is becoming more and more sanitized. That's what I don't like. I know the scene where the young Jedi that was hiding out in the village, where he was hung above the bridge, and he was hung by his arms, not by his neck, and that bothered me. I thought, can we at least have him hanging by his neck? Anyway, that's
and
it's isn't it?
Something else that bothered me was, so Princess Leia is royalty with servants to do everything for her, and yet we're being forced to believe she is now a master electrician.
She knew exactly what to do, didn't she? Go on.
No, it's just preposterous. And once again, it seems to me that the premise of a Star Wars show is a once, hero worshipped character is babysitting a young child. And these children are now the big heroes of Star Wars.
I mean, in that young lady's defense, I thought she did a good job as Leia. I thought she had the right amount of sassiness to the character, and I thought she did really well. I mean, I know you're not a huge fan of child actors, and I'm not really either. But I thought she was one of the better parts of the show. Really, I mean, I know that's not saying much, but I don't think she was awful. She didn't irritate me. I thought she was actually quite good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a difficult thing, because I see where Dean's coming on it. It's like when you bring in kids, it's annoying. It kind of goes to, what Dean already mentioned, Phantom Menace, with that kid, Jake Lloyd. And it's, I remember being in the lineup to watch that movie. Everybody I knew, we were all, at the time I was 18, 19, we wanted to just go out and party and drink and do whatever. But, we watched those movies. We were just like, what the, it seemed like something from that one show, Ewoks, with the Caravan of Courage, if you remember that. And it's just like that's George Lucas, and then Disney has taken that 10 times, or tenfold, and just keeps running with that sort of child template. Where if you watch the first two movies of Star Wars, the first one, they called it Star Wars. It wasn't called A New Hope. That came later. And one of the first major scenes you see, after the Tantive battle scene, but you see Obi-Wan chopping a guy's arm off. What's his name? They call him Punda Baba or whatever his name is.
Walrus
the
Man.
figure back.
Yeah.
Walrus Man is how we know him.
Yeah.
But he chops off his arm or whatever. There's blood on the floor, and then you have Empire Strikes Back, which was more of a movie that's the best of the movies, and as far as I'm concerned, from a director's standpoint, and just the storyline, dialogue, you name it. And then you got into Return of the Jedi, where I think that's where sort of the problems came. But it seems like Disney has just hugged some of the mistakes that were made in Return. Even though I love Return of the Jedi as a kid, and I still love it. I think in some ways it's the greatest of the films because it did wrap everything up relatively well. But they continued with that, the mistakes that I think were made in there, and then they just, and then it's kind of spread out through the whole trilogy. That's kind of my take. I don't know.
But actually, Only-One Kenobi makes a great point about it being the cliffhanger in the last episode, where Vader doesn't find out about Tatooine Obi-Wan being there, but they're messing around, giving that hint. And on that very subject, they have given me the impression that lightsabers are pretty useless as weapons, given that the Grand Inquisitor got zapped through the body and has survived.
Mm-hmm.
Reva has suffered the same consequence and is clearly still alive. But if Vader was so furious at her betrayal, why didn't he finish her off?
Yeah. And considering that he managed to use the Force and pull that ship down just before it was trying to escape, he could have just pulled her apart like a cooked chicken. He wouldn't have needed to faff around with the lightsaber and all this dancing around. Yeah. He could have just liquidized her with the power of the Force.
Yeah.
It just seems really odd that they're still insisting on having him have these sort of drawn out lightsaber duels when he clearly could just crush her like an ant.
Yeah, and let's not forget the fact. Yeah, go ahead.
The thing is with that is that if you have good writing, that would lead into something. But the thing is, we know with Disney, they just seem to keep opening doors. They don't even understand what the Force is supposed to mean. There's no levels. Nothing's, it's not explained or not shown that it can be explained properly to make sense. Like it's nonsensical. And, they just kind of keep going on with it because I think that's the talents level that you have at Disney.
Yeah, they just use it as a get out of jail free card, don't they?
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Now, am I right in thinking that given that the Rise of Skywalker showed us the ability to force heal, means that in episode 3, Anakin should have force healed Padme, meaning there was no reason for the story to continue.
Yeah.
I think that might. It's like, see, I don't know the canon because they've changed it. Right. In the last, since the 80s of what we were told what Jedis are supposed to have compared to now. Do some Jedis have more abilities than others? They've never even explained that in the Jedi training.
Yeah.
Right. And, so, they kind of screwed all that stuff up, 20 years ago. So I can't even knock Disney necessarily for that.
Yeah.
How would you have the foresight?
Yeah. And then I did see something today where someone suggested that Qui-Gon Jinn was one of the most powerful Jedis, and yet he died by having a lightsaber put through his body.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're led to believe that the Grand Inquisitor and Reva can survive having the same lightsaber put through their bodies.
Yeah. It wasn't really addressed, was it? The Grand Inquisitor just came back and he's like, hey, I'm fine. It's, revenge is a great healer or whatever he said. It's, I was pleased to see the character back because I really liked the character. I thought he was really good. And I thought it was a shame that he originally was killed off. I thought, oh no, but was pleased he came back, but again, it just seems very laissez-faire attitude with these lightsabers.
Yeah. And then, of course, going back to the whole lightsaber duel with Vader and Kenobi, which goes down as being the worst duel in the whole of the live action Star Wars franchise. Completely pointless, and again ruins the fact that we're told in the Star Wars movie that, or we're led to believe, the last time they faced off was on Mustafar. So this one, it served absolutely no purpose. And once again, when Obi-Wan is dragged through the fire pit, we know he heals because we see him in Star Wars not burned, no scars. Oh, yeah.
It's so bad writing. There's no I can't even get into their heads without wondering, it's like, I wonder how many of these writers and directors have actually, studied the material, even on a basic professional level.
No, I don't think they have.
No,
I think they what they've done is they've shit the bed, and then they've made a series of shows showing you how they shit the bed.
100%, 1,000%, sir.
Yeah, I mean,
you summed it up.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, with the prequels, we knew going into it, the story is that Anakin Skywalker becomes Darth Vader, but the way they told the story was interesting. With regards to this Obi-Wan series, we knew from the beginning that all these major characters survive. There is no story to tell as such, because Episode 4 or Star Wars or New Hope, whatever you want to call it, starts whereby Vader's very much alive, Leia's alive, Obi-Wan's alive, Owen Beru are alive. There's no story to tell in this series. Except
it's you know what it is, Dean, is we want the content, but we don't have the writers that actually know how to tell stories that you could tell that doesn't damage the I guess the integrity or cohesiveness and timeline and continuity of the original trilogy.
Right.
You've got a bunch of I don't know, hacks, I guess you can call them. I don't know what expression you want to give them. They had the right handshake to get into Disney, and you know.
I mean, again, this is me very much nitpicking, but at the very beginning, we see that at this meat processing plant, it's a very strict regime, because we saw one guy bitching about his paycheck being short. And yet, Obi-Wan is able to steal meat every single day. And no one sees him do that.
I did like that. I like that. I like that he was stealing. It seemed to me, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seemed to me like he was stealing the meat for his camel creature.
Yeah.
To eat, and I quite like that. Anything that shows sort of kindness to animals and feeding animals, I quite like that. So I thought it was pretty cool that he was stealing it for his camel thing, whatever that was. But yeah,
I thought like he see Obi-Wan, like if you have a good writer, he could have like done something more that Obi-Wan's either using his force powers to kind of convince his boss or whatever. I mean, then that will go into, this new type of head canon or whatever Disney's coming up, where he's trying to stay so low that he doesn't use any force powers, which I think is completely retarded. I don't know why they went down to that extreme and that rolls into the whole Vader versus Kenobi fight scene, where it seems like he's afraid, he's looking around where he is. I wouldn't have done it like that at all. I would have still had him, because Kenobi was supposed to be a badass, I mean, he was a Jedi master at this point. So, he should, even though Vader is like this ultimate sort of power, you just need better writing, and it's just retarded. I don't know what else to, but anyways, go on. Sorry.
They're very flimsy, aren't they? I mean, the characters are paper thin. They really are.
So just to address Mac's videos comment, he says
Yeah.
Kenobi has ruined episode 4. They've rewritten it. Leia knows Ben. Vader fights Ben. The locals see the Jedi types only 9 years before. The cartoon stuff integrated to live action has not worked. Wow,
Yeah.
we've got a ton of comments here, actually. I'm going to try and get these up as quickly as I can. A 10-year Leia running away from trained killers with farcical. Oh, also Flea. Imagine seeing Flea in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I can understand Flea wanting to be in Star Wars, but his delivery wasn't very good in my eyes. But yeah, it was kind of cool in a way, I guess. Yeah, it was missing the Benny Hill laughter tracks. Yeah, that was the most ridiculous chase scene I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Kennedy got involved by all accounts, made it less bleak, dark, hence probably he was not hanging by the neck. Okay. Well, that again, going back to my point, whereby I'm assuming the majority of Star Wars fans are people in the age bracket, late 30s to mid 50s.
Yeah.
We can handle
and
seeing
older.
hanging by the neck.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But snapping kids' necks with the we saw this the younglings getting their necks snapped.
Yeah, it was inconsistent, really, wasn't it?
Reva, who constantly kills force-sensitive people, but somehow doesn't pick up of Leia's abilities when sitting face to face. Yeah, and also as well, going back to the whole scene where Reva is threatening Owen, Kenobi is in a shelter, yards away, and doesn't pick up on his, force output. It's good evening, Coglin's Law. Okay. Hey, a lot of greetings. What do you guys think about Reva going to the homestead and pointing her shiny red lightsaber at a terrified Luke Skywalker? Has Disney's contempt of OT gone too far? Well, the fact that she even survived Vader's wrath is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It really is. It's pathetic.
Yeah.
They should not mess with Luke at all. When we see him in Star Wars, he has no knowledge of the Force, let alone lightsabers. Exactly. He is oblivious to any of this in the first movie. So to bring him into it makes zero sense. Sets Obi-Wan on fire, then lets him escape. Yeah.
Yeah.
In episode 6, it's a certainty that Luke will be involved. Well, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
I do enjoy Kenobi, but there's a problem with it. Like episode 5, you see Anakin looks older than he did. Like I said, I've not gone back to sort of compare things to Attack of the Clones. I'm assuming there was some de-aging used, but not maybe too much. Am I right in thinking that?
That's what a lot of people are saying. A lot of the CGI experts, I think.
Yeah. I mean, you could see in some of the close-up shots that Hayden Christensen was not as young as he was back in 2002.
Yeah.
Although, in their defense, those were probably the best scenes from the whole show so far.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's probably quite accurate.
Although, in saying that, would you really train with real lightsabers in that situation?
What, with Luke and Anakin? Not Luke and Anakin, but Obi-Wan and Anakin when they had that scene? Yeah. Well, at that level, for sure.
Really? But there was the possibility that one of them could have ended up being no more.
Well, I mean, you got to sharpen the blade. I mean, to a certain extent. I mean, sure they were. I mean, you are right, Dean. I mean, to a certain extent. I mean, but I mean, I don't know. It's so messed up at this point that, there's no, there's no continuity. There's no the
Right.
rules have been broken so much.
Yeah,
You know,
True,
as already
yeah.
mentioned, right?
yeah. The thing I can't
You
really
know.
get past is that, to be honest, this show was Disney's best chance at redeeming themselves and actually
Yeah.
making something decent. That was the best shot they were going to get, with the characters that were involved, with the storylines potentially they could have used. That really was their best shot. And if they've managed to screw this up, what chance have we got for, you know, the Andor series or the Lando series? I mean, what's the point if they've
No,
managed to stuff
Well, I
this
think
one up?
I agree. I think they're trying to squeeze the orange now to get every last drop, because I think, how much did they buy it off of George? I don't know if that was like a straight type purchase, or it was I don't know what the agreement was, but it was like something like 4.5 billion or something. I don't even know, right? So you think
Right.
of the interest that they've lost off of that, because they blew it with the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
They should have at least made all their money back to pay off all future, like, they should have been golden there, but they
Yeah.
utterly blew it, you
Yeah.
know.
I mean,
And
Star Wars is a
all
golden
this
goose,
other
isn't
stuff should just be the cherry on top, with how another cake or two, you know, like, it's ridiculous.
Not
Yeah.
not
But anyways.
only the whole movie and TV element of things, they fucked up the Disneyland parks with their
Yeah. No.
setting.
Yeah.
You know,
How do you mean?
Well, because if you go to, if you, is what Dean's saying is, if you go to what is it, Galaxy's Edge or whatever, I think that's what it's called.
yeah,
And like, it's not even like most, like, even young kid, like one of my good friends, his kids just watched the older Star Wars movies, and they love those movies. These are the originals, not the special editions, and they love them. They want to see the old characters, because those movies, I think, were done properly. Like, there's something I think wrong with the CGI, where you have to mix the CGI with the models. Like, it brings a certain type of realism to it, but other than that, they messed it up with the Galaxy's Edge, because they put all the sequel trilogy stuff in there, and I have no interest in going to see that for the most part.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's just, you know,
I mean,
if they did those movies well, then maybe I would go, but you know, I don't even want to collect their figures. I mean, even if you can give them to me, and I don't want them, because it's just taking up space.
I mean, for example, my wife wants to go to Florida to go to, I guess it's a Universal does the Harry Potter stuff. And I'm thinking, well, I guess if we go there, I could maybe visit Star Wars. Like, why would it be maybe visit Star Wars? It should be, my God, I'm going to Star Wars, but I'm saying I would maybe go to Star Wars, because it doesn't resemble the Star Wars that I grew up with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the bulk of the entire fan base, that, you know, I mean, all the prequel people can say whatever the hell they want, or the sequel trilogy, they have no money. And, you know, it's only our generation, like, from a business standpoint, you know, from ages 35 to 60, or even beyond that, those are the people that have money. So just from a business standpoint, you should at least have something that's more appealing to that. And, you know, in the sequel trilogy, they lost a massive opportunity, because they geared it to people that weren't even really fans. You know, they had this huge momentum. You know, I hate to keep bringing, I know we're supposed to talk about Kenobi, but I keep talking about the sequel trilogy, but it's just the mistakes keep compounding. I mean, it's getting better, I think, you know, in some ways, which is not, you know, it's nothing to give them a prize over, but you know, I mean, we are getting Kenobi. I like seeing Ewan McGregor. I don't want to, but you have a great actors that are outperforming the storyline. Like, even this Leia chick, the actress that plays Leia, she's exceptionally good, you know.
Yeah.
But anyways, but back to it.
Just to address Ewan McGregor, now obviously my ear is heightened to this, but I have noticed he sometimes drops into a very Scottish accent. It's, to me, it is very noticeable. Like, sometimes he's very proper English, and in other lines, it's so Scottish, which is quite surprising because he is a very good actor. But only one Kenobi does say here, I'm not a Reva hater, thought she was great, served the purpose, but for fuck's sake, I would have appreciated it a whole lot more if Vader had just wiped her out. That's what makes sense.
Yeah.
Given Anakin Skywalker in his early days was full of rage, full of hate, if someone betrayed him in that fashion, he would have cut her to pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he would have just splashed her against the wall, wouldn't he? She'd have been nothing but a smear.
As stated, 9 years before the entire galaxy still knows of the Jedi, in The Force Awakens after Return of the Jedi, Han says, the Force, it was as true as if it had faded to myth and legend. Disney have fucked this right up. Yeah.
Time.
Yeah.
It's obvious that
like no one.
Yeah.
You know what it is, Dean? You understand this because, and I'm sure. Sorry, I'm forgetting your name. This other guest on here. Brother. Sorry. But you guys understand this because you guys are probably you guys are all part of the original trilogy generation, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All three of us. Yeah. Like we grew up with it.
Yeah.
And you remember, like we would put on Return of the Jedi, you have your VHS tape or beta, right? And you put it, eventually, and then you'd be doing other stuff. But I mean, like the movies were played thousands of times. How many times do you think people are going to replay these new types of films? No, never. They're going in the trash bin. If anything, they're going to end up in, film school, what not to do in a trilogy, where Empire Strikes Back was how to make, one of the best, in my opinion, one of the best films, you could base that on that movie alone, right? But but
and I find the sequel trilogy as hard to watch as the prequel trilogy, if I'm honest. I recently rewatched the prequel trilogy and I found it ever so slow, and I found it just dragged on, and I found that really hard. I find the sequel trilogy easier to watch. I find it a bit more engaging, although it's fucked up in many other ways. So I think Rogue One did it the best. I enjoyed Rogue One. I think
I had problems with Rogue One when I watched it, but I was like, whatever. I mean, it was. I would give it like an A. I mean, it's not Star Wars as in it's spectacular, but for side stories, I thought. I mean, it entertained me. I mean, I've seen some hardcore fans, tear certain parts apart, and I can respect that. I can understand their reasonings, but when you're pounding back a few pints and stuff like that, when you start noticing the mistakes while you're drunk or intoxicated or doing 20 other things that you'd rather be doing or you're tired, then it's, that's when you're losing that ability to entertain. And if you don't tell a good story right from the start, if it's not sound and actually follows those disciplines that have been set out for, I don't even know how many centuries now, at least in the Western world. I mean, I'm just amazed that you can't. I don't know how they could screw this up so badly, but I don't know. You have to ask Kathleen Kennedy and the people telling her what to do, I guess. I don't know if that. I don't want to get into the Kathleen Kennedy stuff, but
nobody wants to get into Kathleen Kennedy.
Being beaten to death,
Just regarding the kids' hair color, is it now? I don't have kids, but isn't not the case that quite often a dark-haired teenager was born with light hair and it gets darker over time, whereas they've shown us Luke with very dark hair as a kid, and we know Luke Skywalker in 77 to have blonde hair.
Yeah.
So they've
I think
messed that
I
up.
think that depends. I think that depends. When I was born with really dark hair, and if you look at, I don't know, I've got, well, this isn't the best picture, but it got extremely blonde afterwards, right?
Okay.
So as a there
Right.
we go.
Oh, so it's
So
possible then.
I don't know if it's, it's a mix of I've got Italian, German last name, lots of Scottish in me, probably more Scottish than anything.
Right.
English in me.
Yeah.
My grandmother's from Glasgow. My mom's from from Lannister land. I don't know if you watch Game of Thrones, Lannister.
Right. Okay.
But,
Yeah. Nice.
But I think it's, I'm not sure, but I would have thought he should have been more lighter hair. But I mean,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, and also as well the fact that the glass was so breakable in that Imperial base was quite ridiculous as well. Check us out for again, yes. An unkempt man with a shaggy beard, badly fitting cap, overcoat with 4 legs, walking through an Imperial base. Yeah, not very believable.
Oh, that was horrendous.
Yeah. No, you're not really, to be honest. Flee and talk.
Well, you're missing, I would say you're missing entertainment of how not to do a TV series.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah. Has chat frozen? No, I was just busy engaging with the guests. It's worth a watch. There are some good things. It's no question. There are some nice moments, but it's mostly
I'm
not so good.
Sure it is worth a watch. I'm not convinced by that.
Yeah.
I don't think Boba Fett was particularly worth a watch. Mandalorian was. Mandalorian was good.
Yeah.
They've fucked this up, is what they've done.
I think for me, what made Mandalorian so good was it was entirely a new story with new characters up until the point that Luke Skywalker appeared, and he was the Luke that I wanted to see back when I was 10 or 12 years old.
Yeah.
And that hit the spot. That really did work.
Yeah.
But this whole thing, and again, it is nice to see Darth Vader again on screen, but the Obi-Wan Vader lightsaber duel was just horrendous. He didn't even draw his lightsaber against Reva.
Yeah.
It was stupid. It really was.
You know what it is? It's I know some fans have made the comparison of the second movie of the sequels there with Jake Skywalker, as they call it, or whatever. I think in a way it's just like we didn't need that version of the Kenobi. You should have had a Kenobi that had his, he's supposed to be a Jedi master, at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, like you're not gonna. It's like he's falling down to like an average Jedi level or something. You know what I mean? Like it's such a downgrade in character that even at a low point, I just think it's a bad idea for the story itself. The character development. Like generally speaking, great people don't fall down to absolute way below abysmal levels. Like they always, with his training and his whole life as a Jedi, it just makes no sense really when you think about it.
Yeah.
In my
opinion. And how many Jedis were there? Because in the scene when they were all trying to escape from the sort of base that they had there, and they were all trying to escape, and then Obi-Wan comes along and he reveals that big long line of lightsabers. Like, how many Jedi did they have there that were crap?
Yeah. And going back to Galaxy's Edge, and only one Kenobi says it should have been original trilogy and still could be. Absolutely. That was probably Disney's biggest fuck up of all time.
I agree, Dean, but I wonder, we always attack Kathleen Kennedy, in
Yeah.
my opinion, it's the people telling her what to do. Like, I think
Yeah.
there's another level on that. Like, no one ever talks about Bob Iger, Chapek, or some of the, you know, the people, the investors, the people that own Disney. She's got a lot of other masters. So, and she's got her, political agendas. I'm not trying to defend her. I'm just saying, like, we, as like, I've noticed the YouTube channels are always Kathleen Kennedy, it's, but I don't think so. I think if you look into, who's even put her in those positions years ago, there's politics, big time politics in Hollywood, right?
But for example, in the last 10 seconds, I had a brainwave. Had they based it on the original trilogy, could you imagine having a bar that served alcohol with one booth with a model of Greedo sitting there, and you could sit with your drink opposite a Greedo? Who wouldn't want to do that?
That would be
but that's what I've heard this expression before. It's like the fans are doing better work in Star Wars now than anything. And a lot of this, it just seems like absolute common sense. You know, like this stuff should have already been tried and done, whether it works or not to, the right success level they want to make money. It should have been done already. Like, it's just, it's insane to see where we are now. And I don't know, but that could be, there's one thing that I'll give them all for. It could be because the contract with George Lucas, that they have to pay royalties to any of the older OG characters.
Ah, okay.
But that may be something like there's the corporate side of it, whatever contract they sign. But at the same time, it's like I don't know. I don't know why they weren't asking George Lucas. And actually, the person they probably should have been asking mostly when they did the sequel trilogy is Marsha Lucas. His ex was the one that actually did all the editing for the first 2 to 3 movies. She came on the last few bits for Return of the Jedi, but apparently from, this is from different sources I've heard. I don't know whether this is how relevant it really is, but she was absolutely like a hammer that fixed the first couple if it wasn't for Marsha Lucas, you wouldn't have had Star Wars be this, like the first film be an edit it to successful the way that it came out, because George Lucas, we saw what he did in the sequel trilogy, where he just, he went off, he had his way, and people just like, even I think there's even what's his name, Steven Spielberg, went and talked to him. You could, I think there's even it on tape where he shows the battle droids, those the droids that no one really cared about, and he says these are supposed to be the new stormtroopers, and George Lucas just walked away like, and made a face like what the hell is this guy thinking? Like he's off his, it's just, well, so I think there's some mistakes there, but I mean, whatever.
I'm just going to go grab another beer.
Yeah, just to address Coughlin's Law's comment here, the answer is no, absolutely not. There's no way kids who are 9 years old will look back on that sequel trilogy. They won't even remember that bunch of movies. Expanded universe, fan crap. Yeah. Yep.
One second. I'm gonna have to go right now, but I just got a meeting. So, okay, guys. Sure. Thanks, Steve.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Nice to meet you. See you later, man.
I'm glad you could join in. Thank you so much. Awesome. Thank you.
Bye.
You too. Thank you. Rewatchability is the criterion for quality Star Wars content. No one will be watching or talking about Book of Boba Fett, for example. No, absolutely not. Oof, I'm way behind here. So many cool stories could be told during the OT and prequels timeline, but my God, this stuff is only breaking the narrative and existing characters. Why not give us a show about Bounty Hunter? Yeah. as much as I decried the fact that Amazon are doing who was it? Those retro collection figures, IG-88 and Dengar figures. Even stories about those characters would be quite interesting, I guess.
Yeah.
Actually, I haven't watched the OT or the prequels since I saw last year. I haven't seen anything since watching The Rise of Skywalker back in December of 2019. Just it kind of turned me off, I guess.
Yeah.
I gave mine away to charity. It felt great, except I worry about the kids that will be exposed to that crap. Ben says, decided to stick around. Just sounds like the usual Disney mistakes. Anything that detracts from or contradicts the OT is a no-brainer to avoid. I mean, it's not, I'll be honest, Kenobi, it's not terrible. It's just stupid in parts, as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, there haven't been any Vespers in it.
No, well, yeah, thankfully, yeah.
Well, that was lucky.
With the hair, Disney doesn't give a shit. Yeah. Yes, they are reversing the natural transition of hair color as a subtle way of throwing shade at the character Luke's. Yeah. Luke also lives on a desert planet. His hair would be blonde as a child. If it was blonde at 19, yep. Nick says, yeah, I was really blonde at age 2. Not knee more, though. Dark brown and a lot of gray now. Yeah. Well, for me, it's like way too much gray. It's ridiculous. Mandalorian is where Book of Boba Fett perhaps should have been. Yeah. I really did enjoy Mandalorian, actually. The Star Wars Girl did a scathing review of Kenobi. Who is the Star Wars girl? I don't know.
Oh, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah. Obi-Wan is a wizard and a master samurai rolled into one. He should be more powerful than everybody. Yeah, exactly. And I'm okay with Vader not igniting his saber in the duel with Reva. It emphasized how pathetic she was as a would-be adversary. Yeah, true. But as someone who doesn't know the backstory of these Inquisitors, at one point he held both halves of her saber, but then I saw it on the ground and it was still
together again.
Joined. Is that right?
Yeah.
So what happened there?
No idea.
Oh boy, terrible.
Disney happened.
Yeah. A drink with Greedo would be awesome. You're right. Why didn't they do exactly? If they had based that park on the original trilogy, I would have been there probably by now, I think. As it is, I have no interest in going there.
No, Universal Studios is a better bet, I think.
Yeah. Who's got to try to take your shot of alcohol first? Oh, do you mean in the booth with Greedo? Yeah. If I was a millionaire, I would buy a big warehouse and get some set designers to build Star Wars OT interiors like the Death Star, Tantive 4 corridors. And yeah, of course. Oh, there she goes. I think I'm almost finished though. Excuse me. If they made a program about bounty hunters and the plot would involve rescuing a kid, demographics. Yeah. Today's kids are culturally conditioned to regard all action effects films as interchangeable and disposable. It's all just about them consuming the latest product and then moving on to the next. Yeah, it's true. So I have to do one of my famous bathroom breaks. I don't know, Dave. Do you have a story to tell or a joke to tell, perhaps? Or
I've got a joke I could tell. I suppose. Okay.
Please go ahead, and we'll be back in approximately 90 seconds. How about that?
Okay, you'll get the end of the joke then.
Yeah. I'll probably miss the best parts, but I really do have to use the bathroom so badly. I will be right back. I promise.
Okay. Okay, so there's a guy and he's driving along and he sees a sign outside a house that says, talking dog for sale. So he thinks, oh, that's pretty interesting. So he gets out the car and he goes up to the front door of the house and he rings on the doorbell, and another guy answers the door and he says, "Hi, I've just come to sort of inquire about the talking dog for sale." And the guy says, "Yep, no worries. He's the dog's in the back garden. We'll go around and I can introduce you to him." The guy says, "Great." So they walk out into the back garden and there's a dog sitting there. And the man says, "Hey, I've just come to meet you. I wonder, how you're getting on." And the dog says, "Yeah, I'm not bad. I'm doing all right." And the guy says, "So tell me a little bit about yourself. What's your story?" And the dog says, "Well, when I was younger, um, I worked as a guide dog, and I was very very good as a guide dog because I would be able to explain things that were happening. I could read the newspaper to my owner, describe things that were going on around me, and I was really a useful guide dog. But then I got to my sort of adult life, and I found it wasn't enough of a challenge for me. So I applied to work at Heathrow Airport. And what I would do is I would walk around the airport listening to people's conversations. And if there was something dodgy going on, or I heard any talk about any drugs or any sort of anything like that, I would go back to my handlers and I would report to them. And I stopped a lot of crime doing that. But after a while, I became known for this, and there was articles in the newspaper about me, and people became wise to me that there was and they knew there was a talking dog, and I wasn't quite as successful in my job as I would have liked to have been. So I did that for another few weeks, and then decided that I would quit. And coincidentally, I was then approached by the CIA in America, and they flew me out there, and I worked for the CIA as a spy. And I would be able to sneak into places. I would be able to listen to conversations, listen to what was going on. And again, I would be able to feed that information back to my superiors. And I stopped a lot of terrorist plots. And the guy says, "Wow, that's amazing. Anyway, it was really nice to meet you. I'll go back in and have a chat with your owner." So the two guys go back inside, and the first guy says, "Wow, that's amazing. I've never met a dog like that before. That's really cool. I'm really interested in buying him. How much would you be selling him for?" And the guy says, £20, mate. And the guy says, "Sorry, £20? What? Why is it so cheap?" And the guy says, "Because he's a fucking liar. He never did any of that stuff." There you go.
So to answer the question, Nick, I think he had to go to a meeting, but he was a very good guest, though. The Charter in Jedi Fallen Order would be a good TV show, as it's based on
I
what
think I've
happened.
just lost all your viewers, Dean. I think they've all just fucked off because of my long-winded story.
Yeah, no, it's okay. The boring Sand People parts in Boba Fett would have served better being in Obi-Wan Kenobi shows, as Ben has knowledge of them in Star Wars. Inquisitors and Vader should have never featured. Yeah, there we go. The dog is a liar. Vader tossed one half of the two-bladed saber back to Reva as if to say, "Okay, go ahead and show me what you got." Vader knows she cannot hold her own against him. Okay. Where does Princess Leia shop for Father's Days? At the Darth Mall. Okay. Why couldn't Luke find love? He was looking in all the wrong places. Very good. How does Darth Vader like his toast? On the dark side. How did Darth Vader know what Luke was getting for his birthday? He felt his presence. Okay, very good. Yep, we're laughing at that. True Star Wars fans know that Luke did find love with Mara Jade in the expanded universe continuity that Disney chose to toss in the trash compactor. Wow. Okay, so we're up to date with all these chats. So just to sort of summarize, I'm not going to say Kenobi is absolutely terrible. It has its moments, but the writing is really bad in places. And ultimately, there is no reason for the show to exist. I mean, we know that by 1977 and the Star Wars movie hits, all the major characters are still in place, still very healthy. So, what this show is meant for, I really don't know. What say you?
I say if you look at the title of the show, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you look
Yeah.
really hard, right in the middle of that is the word wank. And I
Yeah.
think that sums it up. I think that
Yeah.
sums it up quite nicely.
Yeah. I mean, I got to be honest, when I knew they were doing an Obi-Wan Kenobi show, I never in a million years thought we would be seeing Princess Leia.
No, no.
That didn't enter the equation. And how does that affect the Star Wars movie where she says in the hologram, "You served my father in the Clone Wars"?
Yeah, she should have said, "Remember me? I'm that girl that was really
Yeah,
good at electronics."
yeah,
Yeah,
precisely.
yeah.
Yeah, it's. And the funny thing is, it seems to me, although I didn't love it, it was okay. But Rogue One is the only Star Wars or Disney Star Wars piece of film that was not based on original trilogy that
Hmm.
seems to be the most popular.
Yeah.
So why didn't they go down that route of just giving us new characters and a whole new storyline?
I
They're
don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm
giving,
not sure to what extent Disney were involved with that production. I mean, I know obviously they were involved because
yeah,
they had the license, but they I get the impression that they were a little bit more hands off and they let the
yeah,
filmmakers kind of do what they wanted more or
right,
less. They weren't trying to interfere with it. But this over sanitization of everything lately is just ruined the it's just ruined the franchise.
yeah. I mean, AWM says it's a shame that they cut things out of the canon. Obi-Wan should have been an easy win for Disney, but they tripped themselves up. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
It's like I said earlier, that was their best chance of getting it
yeah.
right. They had
Yeah.
all the elements there. They could have made a really strong show,
Yeah. I
and
mean,
they didn't.
of all the actors they've had over the years who are currently in their prime, Ewan McGregor is probably the best of the bunch.
Hmm.
And it's not been executed at all well.
No.
And again, going forward, I mean, I'm not even too familiar of what's coming up next, but the whole Cassian Andor thing, what's the point in that?
There doesn't seem to be a point now. Not
No,
after them.
no. The other stuff that I've not watched. Did you watch The Bad Batch?
No,
No, me
no,
neither.
I
It's of
didn't.
no interest to me whatsoever.
I started to watch the Clone Wars, but
Uh-huh.
there are about 1,000 of them, so I didn't get
Yeah,
very far into it. But
yeah.
I didn't mind. The storytelling was okay.
Uh-huh.
Um, but I'm more a fan of live action, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I've not. Well, actually, to be honest, I watched one or two episodes of Rebels and
Uh-huh.
just got put off. Like, as a 40-something-year-old man, I'm not really into these type of cartoons.
Yeah.
And Bad Batch, I didn't even bother starting. As it is, my taste is very much more on. Um, I would rather watch documentaries on real life subjects
Hmm.
than fantasy shows, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I'm at the point where it takes a lot to get me impressed, and so far, I will say this much: when Luke Skywalker appeared in Mandalorian, I was floored by that.
Yeah.
I was, I, I mean, I did a video on it. I was sobbing like a kid. I was like, just the emotions of that were just
Yeah.
overwhelming. That was probably the best piece of live action I've seen in the last 20 or 30 years. That was just phenomenal.
When that X-wing came flying back in, and you thought, no, it can't be. It can't be. Surely not.
He's back. He's back.
Oh, he's back.
Oh, there we go.
Hello, hello, dude.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I messed up my my time schedule there, so I apologize.
Oh.
It was just a quick picking up a file, and then he's gone. I was just like, oh fuck. Yeah, he came earlier than he was supposed to, so no more interruptions, hopefully. And I want to say thank you, Dean, for having me on too. And I what's the other guest name? I'm the worst with names. Is it Monkey Lizard or
Monkey Boy? if I remove the chat, let me see. Monkey Boy's Toys.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Thank you. Yeah, that's cool. If anyone wants to jump on my channel and sub to that would be cool. Please. I'm at 60 subscribers now, so that's nearly 1,000, isn't it?
Nice.
Please. Okay. Right now we're down to 42 watching, but if 42 of you people will go to Dave's channel, Monkey Boy's Toys, subscribe, please.
Oh, that would be so kind.
It really would.
There is some bad language on some of my videos, by the way. I'll just put that out there. It's not safe for family viewing.
Okay. Here's a question. What goes in and out, in and out, in and out, and stinks of piss? Please do tell us. Kenobi walking around the desert for 20 years would be boring. So they stuck in all these cartoon characters. Force users are a myth in 1977, and now there's loads of them. You'll never get all of them. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What's this? Nan doing the hokey cokey. Okay. I like that joke. I actually think Anders's will be excellent because expectations are not there for it. True. Shouldn't contain any major characters from the OT to spoil. Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
Yeah, maybe.
I think the trouble with Kenobi was they introduced too many legacy characters that we know survive. So from the off, we know there's no element of danger to those characters.
Yeah.
It's Kenobi series was a bait and switch from Disney and Kathleen Kennedy to promote their social justice agenda, feminism and racial diversity to the exclusion and detriment of all else. Yeah, well, here's the thing, though. I have seen no evidence of any racial attacks on the actress that portrayed Reva. And I think that was Disney realizing the character sucked. The acting was pretty bad. And they put that out there before the attacks started. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, like a preemptive kind of defense. I mean, yeah, maybe.
I didn't find her horrendous. I thought that the dialogue was bad. Obviously, the storyline is messed up, in my opinion, and just the structure of following even what's established in the the prequel trilogy into expand the universe, which Disney got rid of. Not that I'm learned in that area of the expanded universe. I kind of stopped at that whole Thrawn series of books that came out in the early 90s. Dean, I'm sure you remember that. But it's like the same thing with Boba Fett, like the Tamora Morrison. If you're not giving him good lines to say right from the beginning, it can be very difficult for like a B or C level actor, or even a high level actor, I think, that can carry scenes that, and can sort of improvise or maybe talk to the director or whatever and say, listen, I'm going to say these lines like this. If you have like a top A-lister, like obviously these actors, they don't have, or actresses, they don't have Tom Cruise's power, for example, that can actually change things. I mean, but you can see that with Ewan McGregor, because Ewan McGregor is such a high level actor, and he's so polished and professional, and he's a master that he's able to carry scenes that maybe they don't even make sense, right? And I think you can kind of see that back in Return of the Jedi, if you move your mind there with Carrie Fisher and Harrison Ford, when they have some of those scenes of and then they have or with Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher specifically, and then leading into where you find out that Carrie Fisher's a part of the Force and a Skywalker, and etc., right? Which was all improvised in Revenge, Return of the Jedi, because that wasn't a part of the original Star Wars storyline that George Lucas constructed. But I think that's what's hurting sort of that Reva character. And maybe you could say she's a crap actress. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say because it's
difficult to say, isn't it?
Well, no,
you can only work with what you feel.
Yeah.
Well, for me, a good actor portraying an evil character doesn't have to try quite so hard. She was trying way too hard.
Yeah.
But it's also, I'm not sure, but I'm not on set, so I'm not there, but I would wager to say that could be her handlers and the people on her, the people actually directing and doing the filming, telling her to be like that too. But you could be right, Dean. Maybe that's her take to it, and it's just so over the top that it's out of place, right? Like even in the Jedi or dark side, they're supposed to be sort of, I think they'd be more measured, right? It
seems the harder she tried at that performance, the weaker it got. It just didn't. It just didn't work. I mean, I just didn't buy the character. I wasn't invested in the character. I didn't buy it. I didn't find her believable. I didn't find her credible. I just didn't like the character from the start. In fact, I just thought, oh no, really, is this going to be this awful? And then you've got other characters that were, in my opinion, vastly underused, like the fifth brother. I thought he was really good. I really enjoyed the fifth brother. I mean, he was like a grumpy gothic mushroom. I mean, he was fantastic. I really liked him. And
grumpy mushroom.
He was criminally underused, and he kept whispering all the time. And I really enjoyed him as a character. And I wish he'd have been on screen more. I think he made a much more credible villain than she did. I would have liked to have seen him take over rather than her.
Yeah. Now, in regards to this question, obviously I am probably the least knowledgeable on the whole Star Wars expanded universe type thing, but wouldn't Obi-Wan Kenobi have had a lot of money from his time as being this Jedi Master? There is no reason for him to be working at the meat processing plant every single day. And to me, his story would have been just keeping an eye from a distance on Luke Skywalker for like 10 years.
Yeah. If you have a good, an excellent, or just a decent writer, not that I'm, who the hell am I to say this, but you would think that he would use his powers. He would have credits from the Old Republic. You know what I mean? Like, why would you not? Like, it makes no sense. Like, if you look at even on like real life Earth, like when you have certain people, they go off into a witness protection program, whatever it is, you have, you hear this National Socialist, they'd have gold set away, taken off to Argentina. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know who these directors, who these writers are. They have no understanding of the real world. And you can kind of like, put that into that scene where they have that I forget what the chick's name, she played in Game of Thrones there. She played one of the key princesses there, from Dorian, or I forget what it was, but her husband gets crushed by the mountain by this half Thor, whatever it is. anyways, she had that microphone, and right next to her is one of the other officers. It's so badly written, like you think you would clue into like little scenes like that. They can't even get that stuff right. When she started talking to Obi-Wan when he's down in the basement there, or whatever you want to call it, of that big. Have you seen episode 5, Dean? Or
Yeah,
I don't
yes,
know.
I have. I've seen them all.
Okay,
Yeah.
like you remember when and she has the classic microphone that was in the movie Star Wars, where like Luke's doing, right, and you have the officer right next there looking over, like you think you would clue in, like that's such bad, lazy, unbelievable writing. It makes me just think that the writers of this, they have no concept of reality. It's just I don't know. It's just I don't know what else to really. Yeah, that's my take sort of on it, I guess, if that makes any sense. But
yeah. I mean, I think of all the legacy characters to do a show on, Obi-Wan was the one we needed the least.
Yeah. Well, there was no need for an arc. You know what I mean? To have him hit to the bottom of whatever they're trying to show, where he's like just lost all his powers almost.
Yeah.
And then have that arc. Like, I don't think you needed that. I think he should have been already, right up there. And then if anything, Vader and him, the conflict should have brought him even higher, because now he has to catch up to Vader or surpass him even more. Because remember in Star Wars, he said, Vader said, "You were the master, now I'm the." So I think they should have still had that duel, that, and then possibly had, Obi-Wan still communicating with Yoda, right?
Yeah.
And Qui-Gon, and getting extra training that keeps him sort of helping keep Vader in check. So I think there was one comment there where he's saying, how would you have done the show? I would have shown Obi-Wan setting up seeds of rebellion. You know what I mean? Mastering, outthinking maybe some of, what the Empire is trying to do, or something like that, or at least leading up to, or at least helping. I don't know. Not just staying in seclusion, maybe, but I guess it depends, right? Because he's supposed to take care of Luke Skywalker as a kid, so I don't know.
Yeah. I think for me, it was a very much lost opportunity, given that Ewan McGregor is a highly skilled actor. But as I said earlier, obviously my ear is more attuned to this, but I could hear him dipping between Alec Guinness accent and very much Scottish accent. It was very noticeable.
I didn't pick that up, to be honest, but I think I was looking for other problems. I didn't pick that up. I'm not going to watch it again to
no,
to
me neither. But
how many?
That's how good it is, right?
Yeah.
What sort of legs do you think this show has got? Do you think we've got another season, 2 seasons? What do you think?
No. I don't see how, because again, going back to my very first point, was there was no level of danger.
No,
because
but
we know
they just leave it though?
Survive.
Yeah, but can they leave it? Can they leave it at just 1 season? Well, I don't see that happening, because they'll have egg on their face if they do that. So I can't see them dropping it after 1 season. But I just don't know where they go from here. I mean, that bed is well and truly shitted now, isn't it?
Yeah, true.
And the only thing you can do with a shitted mattress is throw it out.
Yeah.
Well, you can turn it over and shit on the other side, but then you've got to throw it out.
Okay.
So we might have another season.
Yeah. I mean,
if it's anything like Disney, I mean, they could. Does it matter? You have enough fans out there that will still, if you write Star Wars on it, you know, I mean, I don't know. I guess they can beat that horse, you know, till it's dust, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
If that makes
ultimately,
sense.
though, we do know how it ends, and it ends in a situation whereby Vader doesn't know about Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker has a vague knowledge of the Jedi, didn't know his father was a Jedi, doesn't know that Ben Kenobi was once a Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they
That's how we
never
know the
explain that.
story ends.
Well, there's a way that you can do that where it's like, I would think in my mind, where it's you use the Jedi powers where it's almost like you're using a sense of hypnotism where it can kind of stop them from, you know,
Yeah.
reaching out to the forest, like the force or something, the force, something like that. But like, you know, they have there's no creativity here, right? So they're
Yeah.
just, you know, they're just pumping out content, right? So it's not like they don't even have, I mean, TV shows of the 90s are better written, that were written on the fly, are like comparable to this, I would think, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
So there is going to be a season 2, I guess. Wow.
No, there is,
Ah,
okay.
Yeah, I don't see how they could have stopped after one. It doesn't make
Yeah.
sense to stop after one. I mean, they've got to try and pull something out the bag, but I really don't see how they're gonna do that.
no.
Well, we do get some really good the vintage collection's got a really nice card back of Obi-Wan, and the new Darth Vader is spectacular in 3 3/4. So
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
You know,
I guess one way to end this would be on a high note, and that is that the figure is going to be spectacular. Not so much the TV show, but the figure is good. So there's always the silver lining in all this.
well,
Yeah. Go ahead,
Dean,
please.
and that should please you, right? Because as a kid, it was the action figures that kept you into Star Wars more than, you know,
Oh,
that's right. So the action figures are actually getting more and more realistic. They're getting better.
Yeah.
They're getting bigger to scale. And, you know, so
Yeah.
by the time you're 80, you'll have Darth Vader running around on your desk, you know?
Yeah. Although the only problem is, though, as someone who is very dedicated to the vintage side of things, I have not embraced the modern figures. As much as they impress me, they have no real attachment to them because for me, it's all about the memories of enjoying them as a kid. And
Yeah.
I think, as I said last week, the retro collection Kenobi figures are probably the first time I may pass on that line of figures because the show is not deserving of a retro collection. It's not an old show. They should not be doing retro figures for that show.
No.
No, I 1,000%. And like,
Yeah.
you know, bring it back to the modern collecting. There's so many specialties. Like you think of it just from Hasbro, you have the Mission Fleet, which is made for kids, like specifically like under 4 or whatever.
Yeah.
You got the vintage collection.
Yeah.
Then you have retro. Then you have all the specialty and exclusives. Then you have Black Series. Then you have I forget how to say it, Kotobikyu or whatever the heck it is from Japan.
Right.
Yeah, and then you have
You've got the hot
you know,
toys.
I have a couple of them, the hot toys, which are fantastic. But
yeah,
you know, I mean, that's you know, that's over 6 lines right there, and that's not even, you know, I mean, back when we were, you know, back in the 80s, I mean, you had one Darth Vader, but you had a different card back.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, how do you, you know, it's insane, right? It's just, I don't know how I can't keep up with it, but
no, it's just too much these days. But that is a good point to end things because my God, it's like 2 hours 25. Good Lord. So anyway, thank you to everyone who has tuned in for this. And thank you to these wonderful guests.
Thank you for having us on again, Dean.
Oh, you're welcome.
I don't want to overstay my welcome.
No, absolutely not. You're more than welcome.
It's really fun to come on here and chat with you. It's really good fun. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, you're welcome.
Dean,
oh, hang on.
Dean, I'm happy to overstay my welcome. I'm just kidding.
No.
I'm making a
I just saw something fantastic. So, Tree Theodore, thank you so much, sir. Thanks, gentlemen, for an interesting live stream. To continued success. Well, thank you so much. That is very, very kind of you. And Daniel says thanks. Yeah, this has been a pretty good, and I think for the most part, it's not been a negative chat. It's just been expressing our genuine opinions.
It's been honest, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Because I know there's a trend of hating on everything Disney does.
Yeah.
And that's not what this is about. This is just expressing some genuine concerns and critique where it deserves to be criticized. And some of the writing decisions and the acting has not been up to my standard. And I'm allowed to say as such, as we all are.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's just it. Is
last week when sorry, go on.
No, you know what? It's not like, hey, listen, if I drink enough of these, I'm not totally critiquing Kenobi at times. Yeah. But at the same time, when it's like Dean and Monkey, you guys have brought up so many good points, is that, these shows are not, the thing is, we love Star Wars. We want it to have excellent writing because the original films lasted because of the writing and the storylines were, everything was sound. The base of the pyramid was built, whereas this other stuff, it's, and it's not that we're trying to be negative about it. There's a lot of scenes and stuff that I do like about it. I'm happy they're doing it, but it's just, I wish they would do it properly as opposed to this sort of nonsensical stuff and trying to put all these, whether it be absolute weird, political ideologies in there that, I'd rather them, like, you got that in everything else. Like, why bring that into it? I don't want to, it's like you had your problems there with Woke Lord. Like, like, I don't want to get down those paths, right? It's like, I don't care. Like, just make proper storylines. And I think there's so many channels and fans
got to be
for that.
Yeah. I mean, we've got to be honest. I mean, guys like us, we are the key demographic for this this media, and if we're entitled to our opinions, and if we're not impressed, then we're not impressed. It's as simple as that. I mean, I know last week, Dean, you were saying that you hadn't caught up with Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I sort of bit my tongue, and I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to say, well, don't bother. I thought, no, I'll let you watch it, and and just see what you make of it. But I was, I did have to bite my tongue last week. I just thought, oh, Dean, it's an absolute clusterfuck.
Yeah.
It's more fun, guys. I'm having more fun talking about Kenobi with you guys and the fans in the chat than I am with the show.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Very good point. Yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah.
All right.
So I just want to say, I see there's a couple of comments that are about to come through that I will highlight, and then we can wrap things up. But overall, it's not absolutely horrendous. It has a lot of faults. There are one or two really nice scenes. It's not worth watching again, that's for sure. And I certainly won't. But my biggest fear is that Disney have shown once again they really don't know what they're doing. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think that's a very fair assessment.
Yeah. So on that note, I'm going to say to everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it wasn't too negative. I don't think it was. And hopefully we can do this all again next week. So
I'm really sorry about my long joke in the middle. Forgive me.
No, not at all. That was my
I'm
suggestion.
sorry I
Hey,
missed it.
no,
it was all I had in the bank at the time. I'm sorry.
no. I had to go use the restroom. That was your chance to showcase your talents. And
Look what I did with it. I ruined it.
no, you did a grand job.
I'm
Someone
like a- I'm
else
like a-
predicted the punchline as well. So there you go.
Well, yeah.
All right.
Anyway,
So
thanks-
again, so we're
thank
going to
you
go
so
now.
much
So
for
thank
having
you,
us.
everybody. Thank you to the guests, and we'll see you all again next time. All right. Good night.